everybody. The biggest portal news of late seems to be the entrance of PJ Haggerty, who for some reason joins the likes of Dame Danger in the transfer portal. Somebody make it make sense. I'll do my best on this fine episode of One and Done. We're going to break down Arkansas and Indiana's transfer portal class, as well as a 5-pack of recent commitments as well. Won't you join me right now, recording live from somewhere? This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos. One and Done, your fast break of college basketball information. We are powered by the galaxy's greatest website, drroto.com. My name is Jay Heinrich. I happen to be the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. Find the show at One and Done CBB on all the socials as well. We're going to get into a little bit of transfer portal info tonight, of course, breaking down Arkansas and Indiana's hauls, as well as a few recent commitments. So glad you're here, hanging out with us here on One and Done tonight. Joining me, of course, riding solo dolo in the studio at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets. Eric the Blue pushing the buttons behind the scenes, making all the magic happen. So make sure you shout him out. And the live chat is already on fire with our guy, the Hall of Famer, CC Hustle. Flamage. Doing big stuff behind the scenes here. Conductor's Corner, baby, all day. That's right. Doing big things. Snake's Eyes, good to see you in there. Hoosiers, that's right. Building from absolute scratch. We're going to break it down tonight. And then Darren, our friend Darren, of course, no Memphis players entering the portal. Heartbroken. Go Mean Green, our resident North Texas fan there. What's up, Darren? Snake's Eyes, and of course, Napesy Hustle. And don't forget our guy, the captain of the One and Done ship as well, El Capitan himself, Mike, who's working with Nate behind the scenes. That newest Dr. Roto article just dropped with the transfer portal big board, and we're going to be referring to some of those numbers tonight as we go along and talk about some of these guys. So make sure you follow everybody all over all the socials. At One and Done CVB is the most important social. And, of course, right here on YouTube, if you're watching with us, make sure you hit that subscribe button, as it says right there on like and subscribe. Do your part in the One and Done universe. Hop in that live chat. Let us know you're hanging out with us tonight. Let's talk about it. I talked about it in the cold open. PJ Haggerty entered the portal earlier today. Of course, this is Thursday if you're watching live. The Memphis Star was the AAC Player of the Year. Of course, rumored to have entered the transfer portal with the quote-unquote do not contact. Of course, PJ, whatever you say, sir. We'll just let you know how many commas there'll be, and you can come play for us. It's okay. Obviously, everybody in the country wants to be in with this caliber of a player. I was talking with Mike this afternoon as soon as this dropped, and I was like, all right, man, like, where is he going to fall on that top 200 board in terms of transfer portal entrance? And, of course, he immediately said, one or two minimum, So we'll see where that ends up happening on the next update. Haggerty's a big-time scorer and is going to immediately change the landscape of college basketball with his decision no matter what. So, yeah, everybody get over to drroto.com right now and check out Mike's big board, top 8,000 or however many transfer portal entrants is going to end up being. Cam hopping in the chat. What it do, baby? Our guy C Thuggin met up with Cam at the Final Four. The whole One and Done crew did. It was good to see Cam out there. And then we got Caleb Taylor hopping in, trying to get a little bit ahead here. Well, Caleb, we'll get to everything in the not-too-distant future, but it's good to see you in the live chat. How about a few more notable entrants today, guys? Andrej Stojakovic, right? Yeah, that name comes with a little bit of a pedigree, a little bit of shooting pedigree, a top 50 guy on Mike's big board, leaving Coach Madsen out there in Cal and dipping his toes into the waters of the transfer portal. Nate Johnson, the MAC Player of the Year, top 100 guy on the board, is going to, formerly of Akron, of course, is also entered the portal. BJ Freeman, sorry, Nate, Arizona State wing, a top 150 guy, no longer a Sun Devil, looking to find a new home And then JP Pegues, of course, the Auburn guard, top 250 fringes player there on the big board as well. So speaking of guys entering the old portal, it officially closes April 22nd, which if I need to do the math, carry the 5, look at the calendar. Okay, it's next Tuesday, right? So that doesn't mean a player has to decide where he wants to play by then. But whether he's eligible to, transfer or not, hopping in the portal. So one of the crazier things happening in the sport right now is guys are hopping in that clearly do not have eligibility. I talked about Dane Danger in the cold open. One of the best names in college basketball, recent memory. But what are you doing, Dane? Why are you hopping in the portal, my guy? Like, time to explore some European options, maybe Mustafa Amzil as well. There's a ton of them. And I'm just like, how many – just a wing and a prayer? Like, are they going to get another sort of waiver? Like, who knows? But at this point, the NCAA has approved weirder things. So why not just put your name out there and see what could happen? Obviously, like the JUCO ruling, we talk about that here all the time, right? Like, we thought we were going to get rid of all these extra year guys and because the COVID years were all expiring. And now the JUCO year ruling, right? If you played anything in JUCO ball, you get that added on to the end of it too in eligibility. So everybody's trying to milk that for all it's worth, and we'll see what comes from it. Might be time to, I don't know. Is Dane Danger a professional basketball player? I don't know, man. Obviously, he's going to want to probably pursue that. Amzil, those type of guys, like, who knows? But we shall see. What do we got in the live chat over here? What's going on? Oh, yeah. Cam saying he could see Duke trying to snag Haggerty. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's a name that anybody, of course, Duke, I'm sure, picked up the phone, at least put out some feelers there, right, Cam? But most of these top programs will as well. And then, look who it is, Peanut Butter Posse. Stojakovic to Big Blue Nation. Anytime I say Big Blue Nation or Kentucky, for some reason, we just see this spike in viewership. So how about Big Blue Nation, Kentucky, Mark Pope? Let's get them all out there. Who knows? Maybe could use a little outside shooting over there. Peanut Butter Posse, what do you say? Who knows? Yeah, what does it matter? We'll be all about the Boozer Twins next season. Darren is saying, who knows? Hey, listen, let's keep the live chat rolling here. I love how it's already on fire tonight. Let's keep that rolling. Let us know if we missed anybody so far. Somebody who's your favorite guy that's in the portal that has no eligibility left? How about that? I'm sure you have one. Let me know which one of those guys you want to hear. And, of course, hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. We just crossed the 1,500 subscriber mark. So shout out to all the breadheads, everybody in the One and Done universe. We definitely appreciate y'all for hanging out with us and checking in all the time. We're currently 1,502. How about that? Let's go. All right, let's get a few more here tonight. Make sure you push all those buttons. If you're watching live, if you're watching later, hop in the comment section and let us know that you checked us out. All right, let's get to a couple of team spotlights here. Shall we? Oh, can the man behind the curtain push the button? And let's move on to Arkansas Razorback transfers here. Boom, just like that. You see, ask and ye shall receive. We got 1, 2 big names here for Arkansas. A little bit of a Razorbacks reload here, starting with Malik Ewan, formerly of Florida State. Man, Florida State, not everybody's out of there, right? Malik Ewan here, 6'11", 230-pound big man, averaged 14 points and 7.5 boards for the Seminoles. And then Nick Pringle, formerly of South Carolina. I mean, what a front court here, loading up right now. Coach Cal here. Yeah. Pretty nice Sweet 16 run they had, won't you think, guys? I mean, now what do you got to do? You got to reload now in year 2 of the Calipari era. So obviously the front court, a big area of need here with Big Z hitting the portal, headed to Illinois. Jonas Adu graduated. What a fantastic, just a fantastic way to finish out a career and a season there. Just a monster of a last month in the season. And then Adu Thiero declared for the NBA draft as well. So what do? How do you reload? How do you just don't keep – how do you – what's the expression here? What am I looking for? How do you keep the Hogs sloppy and happy or what? I don't know. That's that. We'll workshop that one. But Cal struck gold in the portal, bringing in the two highly talented bigs in Ewan and Pringle. Malik Ewan was a dominant force in the ACC, of course, as a rim finisher, rebounder, and shot blocker. And he did all that in what was a fairly limited role, right? But still posted some monster stat lines. We know the situation at Florida State. I was trying to tippy-toe around it a little bit ago. Just a complete mess, though, which makes his play, honestly, when you think about it, even more impressive. And I talked about Adu a little bit ago. Ewan's got a little bit of that Adu in his game, which should have Razorback fans salivating at his potential next year. And then Nick Pringle, always been one of the most intriguing bigs in the sport over the last few years. Like borderline elite metrics on the glass, finishing in the paint, drawing fouls. He's all right there, like borderline elite. The problem is, can Nick Pringle stay on the floor? Can he help but to foul someone? And that's been an issue. So neither big's going to really stretch the floor for them, but I mean, Cal wants that just strong paint presence on both ends, and Ewan and Pringle are going to provide that for the Hogs. I'm not going to peanut butter posse. No, okay, we're not going to go there. All right. But we should go to the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that button for all your broskies and broskets in the one and done universe. Do your part. Hit that button. Little Arkansas Razorback action there. Not quite as busy as I take a sip of this old H2O here. Not quite as busy as Indiana and the Indiana Hoosiers. Coach DeVries over there, like who mentioned it earlier in the show here, a complete reset, right, for the Hoosiers here. And you could put the snake's eyes, of course. You could call it for the old one and done rub, when we interview some of these mid-major coaches, and then they just boop. Mark Pope, for example, we interviewed him when he was at BYU, gets the Kentucky job. DeVries, and it was at Drake, and now boom, before you know it, he's at Indiana. Tell all your favorite mid-major coaches to contact us and get on our show, because the big job's coming after that. But anyways, let's talk about that haul that Indiana has. And it starts with Tucker DeVries, right? 6'7", 220, just a ball player. We talked to Coach DeVries before Tucker's freshman year, so he had not played a minute of college basketball yet, and that the expectations, I guess, of the coach's son figuring it out, it still wasn't. We didn't know that he was going to come in and be the player that he ended up being. But, of course, didn't play all the games last season. So going to get fresh start here, going to be healthy for the Hoosiers. But besides Tucker here for Coach DeVries, of course, Lamar Wilkerson, Reed Bailey, Tayton Connerway, Connor Enright, Josiah Miles. I mean, entirely new roster here. Right? DeVries is that go-to option, and, of course, that injury ended his year last year. Now, we often ask the question about players that are playing up against tougher competition on a more regular basis, and can that be sustained, right? Can Tucker DeVries, on a night-in and night-out basis, stay healthy and play as effective against tougher opponents? He did answer some of that, I guess, 26-point game against Arizona. I mean, check. 16-6-4 against the Zags before the injury. That's a check mark. So, I mean, we'll see. Again, if he can get it done for a full season, if anybody can do it, it's probably Tucker in his dad's system. And then again here, we also talk about players that go from a program with maybe not as much talent into a situation where the talent is much greater. So, obviously, Tucker DeVries having to play up for everyone around him won't have to take as much of that, won't have to wear that burden as much, I guess, although he probably will anyway. But he won't have to feel it because everybody around him will be a little bit more powerful. We know with Mike Woodson, like they really struggled shooting the three ball. 3 out of those 4 years, sub 200 in the rankings in 3-point percentage, and then the 1 year they were like 39th, and they, won a tournament game. But again, like for the most part, didn't shoot threes well. So what do? You get guys like Lamar Wilkerson and Reed Bailey to come in as dudes that are just going to shoot the lights out of the gym. Wilkerson's a dynamic scorer who shot 43% from three. Again, another question mark of a guy. Can he do it on a consistent basis? We shall see against this tougher competition. Bailey's a really nice big that can stretch the floor. And, just seems to make the right play all the time. At 6'10", he carried a 25% assist rate, top 40 in the country in fouls drawn per 40. So does a little bit of everything there. Does Reed Bailey for sure. They're going to play, when you think about Connor Enright, what is he going to do first? Pass. What's he probably going to do second? Pass. What's he probably going to do third? Pass. Plenty of assists to go around here to all the players on this roster with a 38% assist rate last season. But, of course, the turnovers that come with that and as much ball handling as he does, it's tough when you turn the ball over as much as he does. Just at times, right? Just got to rein that in a little bit, right? Rein that in a little bit. Can he do it? We shall see. Tatum Conaway and Josiah Miles are two more, sort of, if you will, like the big taking a swing in the mid-majors. Conaway was the Sun Belt Player of the Year, right? Flash big-time playmaking ability with a 37% assist rate himself. Was also third in the country in steal rate. The problem, once again, can Conaway be a factor every night in the Big Ten? I don't know. In 4 games against Tier A opponents last year, not great. 1 for 16 from 3, and the 2-point percentage dropped from 58% to 38% in those games. So, I mean, small sample size, right? But he was the Conference Player of the Year in the Sun Belt with Tatum Conaway. And then, of course, Josiah Miles, an interesting upside wing piece out there, just going to score. And he's going to score, and he's going to score no matter what level. He's going to score the basketball. And he's 6'6", too, so not a bad, nice positional size as well. So, again, when you look at this total roster overhaul for Coach DeVries and the Indiana Hoosiers, lots of upside for sure, right? And are these mid-major guys going to be able to take the next step? I don't know, right? But, again, Darren, you're right. DeVries obviously did play in the Big 12 last year, but they only played – that's an 8-game, didn't play very much on that side. I don't know, man. I want to see it consistently, and obviously he's a super talented guy. Indiana in the Big 10, just the grind it out type. Obviously the Big 12 and the defense, and it's just – yeah, it's tough basketball either way. So can he make it through the whole season? I guess maybe should have been a better question. In whatever conference – at this higher level, can he do it and do it consistently? Again, we shall see. Not the Toy Poodle Conference, of course. Of course. Very good. Make sure you hit all those like and subscribe buttons. I'm loving how the live chat is still on fire. Keep it going. Keep it going as we move on here. You know what? Let me take a little bit of this sip of this. What we got? What's going on in the live chat? Peanut Butter Posse, you keep it. Are you behaving, man? Like, we good? Yeah, you're good, of course. Can the answer be yes to both of those questions? Basketball player and elderly neighbor? What do y'all think about the striped warm-ups? Like, is it just too much? Is it one of those things where you just do it for the sake of, like, the nostalgic feel, but people that make those decisions, they don't want to admit that it just looks horrible, and there's a reason that it was buried so long ago. Like, does it really look that good? Yeah, doing it for the culture. I don't know, man. Like, there's some throwback things that I like that are pulled off really, really well, but I don't know, man. stripe warm-ups. I could probably – the thighs are looking all right. I could probably pull off the Daisy Dukes. I could pull off the shorts, the Stockton shorts. Why not? I could try it out. Played soccer for like an hour the other day with that was not smart. I'm so sore. Raise your hand if you shouldn't have played soccer for an hour earlier this week. That's all right. Let me know in the live chat if you guys did anything active. Would sure love to hear from you. Let me know what your exercise was. I'm so sore though, guys. Oh my God. Let me know what y'all have been up to in the live chat. Make sure you hit all those like and subscribe buttons as well. Let's close out the show here. 5 recent commitments. Maybe not all of the biggest names that have committed recently, but we're going to give you a 5-pack here. We love a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-pack here on One and Done. So let's get to it here, starting with Keyshawn Murphy of Mississippi State, formerly of Mississippi State, I should say, committing to Auburn. 11.5 points, 7.5 boards, a block there. Number 39 is 39 in Mike's big board. Debut is, I should say, over at drroto.com. So go over there and check that out. Mike and Nape doing big work over there on the big board. Xavier Lee, this is a player, again, talk about a guy that you want to believe can elevate it at the next level, right? 17 points a game, 6 boards, 5.5 assists, shot 37% from 3 for Princeton. Dynamic, just absolutely dynamic. And a team in Florida that won the national championship. Do you know that? Do we remember this? This just happened. We were out there at the Final Four in San Antonio checking things out. One of the craziest Final Fours of recent memory. And since they won that natty, it's been a little bit quiet around Gataville, as they don't actually say around there. But, here you go. Xavier Lee, obviously, like I said, dynamic player in the Ivy League. The reason why this is important is that you lose Clayton, Richard, and Martin out of that backcourt. Who's going to fill some of those holes? You got to get guys that you have seen do it before. To fill those are some big shoes to fill in that backcourt. You need guys that you have at least seen, have shown the ability to carry a team at times on their back. And Xavier Lee has done it, albeit in the Ivy League as well. He's going to play a big role immediately, so we'll see if he can step it up. But one thing that we do know is that Todd Golden knows how to take guards from the mids and turn them into studs in the Power 5 ranks. So Xavier Lee is a guy to keep an eye on here. Just committing to Florida. Makai Mason committing to Wake Forest, now had a solid year for the Huskies after being the centerpiece of the Rice program. So Rice, Washington, and now Wake Forest, the Fighting Tim Duncans, is the jersey that Mason will wear. Unfortunately, for the Huskies, that role took a dip. Usage, minutes decreased heavily. So now he goes to Wake Forest. And that system is made for guards who want their shot and play a ton of minutes. So maybe a guy that could sneak into the top 100 before it's all said and done as we relook at this thing, if he can really catch on and continue to improve at Wake Forest here. Coach Forbes had a ton of success with these type of players, and Mason has a shot to be an impact player in the ACC. Right there, number 4 on the list, Osiah Sellers, formerly of Stanford, now hanging out with the old Johnnies. Is Johnny K in the building? If not, we're going to talk about Sellers here anyway. We all know the story of St. John's season. They were great at attacking the rim, and they were great at defending. But we were talking about people not being able to shoot outside shots earlier. They were not falling at all for St. John's when it mattered the most. And it looks like Patino is addressing that area this offseason, and Sellers is just another good example. There he is. There's Johnny K. I knew you were around, my guy. Shooter. That's right. That is right. All he did, Sellers was slash 45, 40, and 90 if you need it. Patino on Twitter stated that he watched him put on an impressive shooting performance, has great size and tremendous work ethic. Those are all, of course, all the things you would say. Takes it to the hole, okay, too. Yeah, man. You got you a good one. I know Johnny K's excited about some sellers out there at St. John's. Any other St. John's fans out there? Any other Johnnies out there hanging out? Wanted to let us know about Isaiah Sellers. I think it's a pretty good get for Coach Pitino. Last but not least here on this 5-pack, Melvin Council played for the Bonnies last year, 6'4", 180-pound guard. Mike, when we were in the live chat, all right, in the group chat, the one and done group chat that we have, Council is a guy, and I remember this. There's so many guys entering, and we've got the chat going all the time. We're constantly checking who's going in, stuff like that. Council, Mike was saying, Council is like, I remember this. It's ingrained. Council is a guy that Kansas fans might look and say, really? Like, so what? But listen, he's a solid pickup. He's just a big, strong guard who could rebound and facilitate. Yeah, Peanut Butter Posse saying Kansas hasn't been in on many big names. Maybe not yet, but maybe that'll change with some of these more recent entrants for sure. But I do think that Jayhawk fans have something to be, at least, like this isn't just some throwaway guy. Like, it's a solid pickup. I guess maybe the outside shooting, maybe that is where the improvement does need to come for Council. He's not a starter. He's not a guy that you're really going to count for major production. But again, you got to have guys in the Big 12 that are going to play meaningful minutes that don't have to have 10 or 12 points in their time, but maybe could find a way to give it to you if you need it in a pinch, right? And for the Bonnies, they average 14.5, 5.5 rebounds, 4 dimes per game, and 2 steals. A guy like Council, you got to have players like that on your roster. I don't know what Bill Self is waiting on, but I do think that he got himself a good one here. Number 260 currently in the big boys. The top 300 right now over at drroto.com. I feel like I keep telling Mike it's by the time that him and Nape are done, it's going to be the top 1,200. It just keeps growing and growing, but who knows? We shall see. Player like Council might not just stand out, Any guys like that for y'all's teams that, don't hop off the page, but guys that get it done, let us know. Hop in that live chat and let us know. You're going to have to hit those like and subscribe buttons, though, to do that. Make sure you do that. Like and subscribe. If you hung out with us live on a Thursday night, we definitely appreciate you for doing that. The liveliest live chat in all of college hoops was on fire. See, Johnny K knows ball. Johnny K knows ball. Council's a baller. Johnny K knows what's up. All right, anything back up here? Johnny, okay, yeah, we got one. Johnny, you did ask that other question, right? Do we think these kids that played a year in D2 before coming to D1 will be granted that extra year of eligibility? Listen, why not challenge it? Do I think it's going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that they're going to be – I feel like it's over with. I don't feel like they're going to go down that road anymore. But I've been wrong so many times about the NCAA. Like, who knows? Like, I have no clue. Flip a coin, my guy. I'm going to say no, though. I'm going to say no, that D2 guys will not get that extra year. Let us know what you think in the live chat. Absolutely, Snake's Eyes. Okay. See, maybe I should wear the vertical stripe pants then, man. Like, maybe I need them, and maybe that's why I had such strong feelings about them, because maybe, you remember that Skee-Lo song, I wish I was a little bit taller, I wish I was a baller? Well, I was a little bit of a baller, but I definitely wish that I was taller, so maybe I should get some of those vertical stripe pants. Snakes Eyes, appreciate you hopping in that live chat as well. Yeah, Johnny Council was amazing in some games for the Bonnies. We'll see if he can get it done for Kansas. Pope has all top 30-ish guys. Kind of scares me. Big portal winners necessarily translated. You're right, Peanut Butter Posse. That's the thing. We've seen these teams win, quote unquote, win the portal, right? And then it just doesn't mesh. It doesn't work. A Texas Longhorn team that we just saw, they put together quite an impressive roster, and some of that had to do with coaching, obviously, but it just didn't work. It didn't mesh here in my neck of the woods up the street in Austin. You can't just win the portal. You got to make it happen on the floor as well. That's why Ziegler loved those stripes of Tennessee. All right, Mr. Kentucky. All right, very good. Very good. We'll close it out with that one in the live chat. Make sure you hit all those like and subscribe buttons. Follow us. I know my guy Mike is going to be coming to you live here soon, and we're going to get us all in the studio again at one point. Maybe me and Mike, maybe Nate will be on, maybe Biggs, maybe Eric will be on. Who knows? We're all going to get in and out of the studio. But I know one thing is that we're not going to stop covering college basketball. So make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons, notification bells on YouTube, at One and Done CVB on all of the socials. I am the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Follow me on X at Dr. William Cannon. I'll follow you back. I love our live chat. I love all the breadheads, and I appreciate all of you for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure you take care of yourself. Tell somebody that you love them. Make sure you have that notification bell on so you don't miss when we go live. My name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. Peace out.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.